UFC Louisville did not disappoint. Between fights in the octagon, fights in the stands, a crazy-ass audience, and the annoying occasional "fuck Joe Biden" chant, turned out to be one of the best fight nights in a long time. On account of UFC 300 and a few other big events this year, most of the other fight nights and some of the other pay-per-views have been pretty lacking. This was my first UFC event I've been to live. I had tickets way up here. Thankfully, the Yum Center has great seating though, and I could see everything perfectly. The only time it was really hard to see was when people were grappling, especially against the cage, but there was a big ass screen I could look at if I ever needed to. If you haven't been before, I highly recommend going if it comes near you, even if you're not a huge fight fan, which you probably are since you're watching this video. If you just get cheap seats or nosebleeds, it's still worth going. Then shout out to the two English dudes and an Irish dude we sat behind too. They were funny as fuck, and it really shows just how much the sport brings people together worldwide, no matter where you are. As for the card itself, I was pleasantly surprised. It was pretty mediocre on paper, but almost every fight had something worth watching. The first fight of the night, I didn't get to fully see all three rounds, but from what I saw, it seemed like Tomar won. How did two judges get 30-27 for each fighter though? That's probably a question we'll never know the answer to. It's like they watched two completely different fights. This just goes back to the age-old issue of terrible judging though. Anytime I hear a decision like this, I just think back to when Loma got robbed and wondering if the judges even knew which fighter is which. Who cares though, it's not like anyone's career or livelihood depends on this. Next was the Cody Stamann fight, and all I'll say here is he's had a bit of a rough journey and I wish him well, but man, some of these French fighters have been looking just fantastic these last few years. These fights were all decent fights, not much to say on them overall though. We'll skip here to the nasty knee from Carlos Prates. There are significantly less body TKOs in the sport than knockouts, so that alone is impressive, but when you can do it with just one clean strike like that though, holy shit. Precision and timing is crazy, holding the hand and then faking the left set Radke up perfectly for a body shot, and he landed it dead on the liver. Beautiful striking. The first fight on the main card was impressively one-sided. Soriano beat the shit out of Miguel Beza in an impressive way. He stuck to what was working, taking him down and just hitting him in the head. Unfortunately, the crowd started booing. I understand booing when people are just hugging against the cage or laying on the ground, but it was active the whole time. Soriano kept throwing punches, changing positions, and didn't just hold him down for nothing. I did not expect the next fight to end so quickly. Such a perfect kick to set up the right hand. Marquez was clearly circling to Reese's right, and that kick just put him in full defense mode, and Reese just threaded that uppercut perfectly through his guard for a near flawless knockout. For an audience that was chanting USA all night, even in fights with two American fighters, Bruno had the audience going crazy after his knockout. Stoltzfus took an absolute beating before getting dropped by not the first, but second spinning elbow. The sound on these elbows are crazy too. A great just brawl while it lasted. Looking back on it, I think is especially wild about this fight is that Stoltzfus was wobbling everywhere, never looked stable, and almost fell over a few times after the first elbow. It probably could have been stopped well before that second elbow. And funny enough, it's the same ref as the main event. Raul Rosas versus Ricky Turcios was pretty wild throughout. What's even wilder to me is the crazy pop that Raul got when he walked out. People are big on this kid, and I don't really get it. I won't say he's not good, because he definitely is. I don't want to see him get rushed either though. There's no need. Let him take the Sean O'Malley route and beat the shit out of trash cans for like 5 years and then get a title shot. His striking definitely needs improving if he's going to stick around though. He's not bad, but he's just using it to shoot for takedowns. He's always just looking to shoot for a takedown. Fair tactics, but I'm not convinced that his ground game is that dominant or smothering to rely so heavily on. He's done the same thing every fight. Get about 2 clean punches in and instantly shoot for a takedown. It's worked for 3 out of 4 fights. His second fight he tried the same thing and his opponent just worked around it, and there were no adjustments made from Raul during that fight. Which brings me back to my point of not understanding the hype. He clearly doesn't want to stand and just throw hands. His goal is just to get his opponent down and try and choke him out. And in a sport where the majority of fans just want to see a brawl and knockouts, I don't get it. Hell, just 2 fights before we saw someone be way more dominant on the ground and people booed, and maybe once people realize how he fights, the hype will die down, or maybe there's just something special other people see that I don't. I don't mean to sound like a hater. I wish Raul the best of luck in his career and I'm happy for him. It's just my thoughts on the matter. This is where things really heated up for me. I was scared for this fight, not gonna lie. Dominic Reyes has had a rough go since beating John Jones. The Yuri finish, to the next knockout, to the next. I was scared he was gonna die that night, but god damn did he show out, and I could not be happier. He put on an absolute clinic and demonstrated once again how good of a striker he really is. Not only that, but he showed he still has a chin, which was a big concern going into this fight. but he still seems to be only a few fights away from another title shot. Will he beat Alex Pereira? I don't think so. But maybe it's not a matter of Dominic Cruz being washed or not as good as he once was. Maybe this just goes to show how goddamn good the top of this division has become. I also gained a lot of respect for him from his post-fight interviews.
We're in the KFC Center, man. I've been craving fried chicken the whole camp. Where's the fried chicken at?
You know, but the crowd here was giving me so much love, and so it felt so good, man. It felt good to be back in the win column, but it felt like everybody wanted me to win. It wasn't like, oh, you win and people are like, oh yeah, he won, cool, it was a good knockout. It was like, come on, Dom. Me and all my homies want Dom to win, kind of thing, you know.
What's the message on the shirt?
Oh, so this is from the Muhammad Ali Museum. His message of be great and do great things. You know, it's not just about being a great fighter. It's about impacting your community, impacting the world, fighting for things that you believe in, fighting for injustices, fighting for the right stuff. Be great. Being in there in the octagon tonight, I found out at the museum that his memorial was held in the KFC Center, so his body was in the KFC Center, and that really resonated with me. I felt like as a fighter, his final time in an arena on this earth was the last place I just fought, you know, and it really meant a lot to me. And I feel like I really embody his style with float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know, my thing has always been I'm more athletic than everyone in the division, meaning I move better than everyone in the division, and I sting like a bee for sure. This shirt was in honor of Muhammad. My performance, I hope I honored him.
As a local and a fan of Muhammad Ali, I always love to see respect shown to his greatness. And now we get to the main event. What is there for me to say that you haven't said or haven't heard yet? I'll say the obvious first. I think it was a very competitive fight. I would say Jared was definitely leading the first 3 rounds, but you never know with the judges. Before the stoppage, Jared was definitely rocked, and he was stumbling around, but he was never dropped. He wasn't just leaning against the cage to stand up. He was defending, still throwing punches, creating space for himself to recover, and even shooting for takedowns. All the typical things you see in a good standing TKO were not there for me. And it's not just like his hands were up and still getting hit in the head. He was defending most of the shots. Right before the stoppage, he even threw a counter and went back to guarding. As Jared said it best,
it doesn't feel like I lost the fight. I just feel like it was taken from me. You know what I mean? The opportunity, gut-wrenching is an understatement. I feel like the opportunity was just taken away from me, and as well as Nasruddin. You know, the opportunity for him to have a clean finish, a clean win. Instead, we have this controversy that we have to deal with.
And it's crazy when you look at the fight, the same referee reffed earlier that night. Someone was hurt much worse, and he let that fight continue a lot longer. If there wasn't a stoppage there, the outcome of the fight may have been the same. But we've been taking the chance to ever find out. This win could have easily put him back in another title shot, although I think he should have had the last one over Rodriguez anyway, especially on account of him beating Sean Strickland in a very close fight already. Nonetheless, Jared is 40 years old and seemingly in his prime. Nothing he showed that night seemed to me that he needed to retire or should stop chasing the belt. Another big win or two and he's easily back in the mix for a title shot. All in all, I had a great night. The event broke records too. Biggest gate for a fight night and biggest gross of a sporting event at the Yum Center. And they've even hosted NBA games. So hopefully they'll come back soon and with a pay-per-view. I was there again a few days later for a concert and the difference is real. It really showed me there's nothing like this sport. The crowd was absolutely crazy to be in. No phones out during the fights. Just everyone watching to see what could happen next at any moment, patiently, knowing that madness could be just around the corner.